Blessings, everyone. Earlier, Spirit had nudged for me to do the crystal singing bowl for the third eye chakra, just to clear out any of that residual energy that, especially right after the eclipse, sometimes we feel a little foggy from such intense energy. And so Spirit had me do the singing bowl, and it helped a lot. And then right after, it's always the nudge, to do the Angel Prayers Oracle. And this deck is by Kyle Gray. I have all of his decks, except the new one that's coming out. And the energy that I always experience, they really hold the energy of the masters, the light beings, the angels. And so this is one that I use a lot because I feel like that the octaves of the angels comes through and the messages are always so clear and beautiful. And I've learned so very much listening. So first, I would like to say thank you to Source for allowing me to be a medium of light. And I ask the angels to please step forward. Please allow me to bring a message for the highest good. I'm so grateful. Thank you. And I'm just going to do, I always shuffle 3. Source, Spirit, and Soul. The angels were very prominent today. This morning I had an experience where I kept hearing the word warrior, warrior. And that's not something that I am I feel awkward with it because sometimes the ideal or the idea of warrior seems a little intimidating, and I downplay that warrior thought. I think of this Viking goddess that's, or, you know, someone that's out there doing something that's, you know, they're hang gliding or something for charity. And Spirit is just, has been so powerful with this today. And so this morning I had a song come on my dot. I don't say the name because it comes on. And it was all about being a warrior. It was from the band Who, Wolf Totem. And it just felt like that driving force. It was amazing because I didn't have my Spotify open. I wasn't playing the song recently. So the fact that it just came up right after they were talking about that really made me realize that a warrior is something far greater than any idea we could give it. It's an energy. And so that was something that they wanted me to talk about today. And I did. I shared some on social media, but I feel like that I'm hoping the angels will clarify because that's a message that could be for all of us. And so although many cards are coming up, they're not saying to take. This one. Spiritual support. Dear angels, I allow you to support me as I grow to become more spiritually aware. Energy is very, very strong today. And one of the first things that my attention is drawn to is it's always the Trinity. That's when I shuffle, I embody Source through Spirit as Soul. So it is our piece of Source that we are in our fullness that is being taught to us through our spirit, or higher self, and expressed by us as our soul, which is our story here. And for me, that's the Trinity. And there's the 3 angels, which also embody all 3. And right away, this does tie in to what I was speaking of before. A lot of times the angels are saying that we get into this space, especially if we've been on the journey a while, and we're very clear. We're hearing our guides. We're hearing our loved ones, our ancestors. We're connecting with Source. We found our strength, our meditation, all of these things. But we have this idea that because we're on the spiritual journey that we should know better. Or sometimes we can be very, very hard on ourselves because we feel like we're having a bad day. Maybe we're not hearing as clear. As I said, the third eye was a little foggy after the solar eclipse, so I did the third eye chakra bowl. Sometimes we're in a space that we can't force that connection. But we also have to understand that being a warrior means that we're accepting the help, that we're reaching out. And it doesn't make us any less sacred, spiritual, aware, awake, whatever connotation you want to add to that. We don't have to do this alone. We have a team. That's what they're there for. And the angels are adamant that they will not intervene if we don't ask. Our guides may nudge us even when we're being stubborn, but the angels, we have to open to that. We have to open our hearts to that. And they're drawing my attention also to the prayer, the formation of the hands with the prayer and this light there. Because one of the things that I keep hearing is we hold the light. You hold the light. You are the light. Even when we're in a space when we're not feeling like the warrior. And something that I was a lesson, a teaching that I learned this morning is that using this word with asking for support. A warrior doesn't mean that we have to get on social media and use all kinds of cuss words. I'm not the badass B. Or telling everybody, F the world. You know, we're so powerful. We don't take no crap from anybody. That's not the approach of the warrior. What the angels are saying is the warrior is the soul that understands that there's something that needs to be worked through. The warrior is the person that recognizes they're really afraid, but they're going to work through it anyway. The warrior is another word for resilience. That as we go through whatever it is that we're processing, we're fully experiencing it. We're immersed in it. We're not in any form of denial. If we're afraid, we're afraid. If we're angry, we're angry. If we're hurt, gutted, broken, we surrender that. And that the warrior is not always the title we give ourselves because we have some kind of power, although that's what it's associated with. We think of warrior, we think of war. Warrior, that's the person that went out on the battlefield and went screaming 100 miles an hour to take everybody down. But we're using this as a metaphor because the warrior is the one that through it all holds the light that says, this is difficult. I need an army. No matter what that army is for us, whether it's all our best friends, our family, our guides and angels, our experience. We can pull on the experience of the past to remember what we got through. The warrior is that space of recognizing that we don't have to be in control all the time. We don't have to be angry. We don't have to be fierce. Yes, those are beautiful attributes, and sometimes in life we have to stand up for ourselves. We can't allow people to, excuse me, to push us over and take advantage of us. We have to know when to step away. But it doesn't mean that we have to become bitter. It doesn't mean that we have to use violence. And it doesn't mean that we have to call everybody out on their idiosyncrasies or their challenges that they're going through. You know, they're reminding me, I see this a lot on social media where there's some that they're angry. And they're seeing that as being a warrior because they're saying that everybody's stupid or they don't have time for they're not being at their level of spiritual awareness. You don't have to be a witchy, angry soul to be a warrior. You don't have to go out there and talk a bunch of nasty nonsense. Those are walls. Those are not warriors. We're projecting. We're showing people our weakness. And we're saying, I have to put this mask on so I can interact with you because I'm very vulnerable. So here's my mask of a warrior on the internet or at my job or at the park if I have to interact with people. That's the idea people have, the tough stuff. But I think we've all gotten to that place now when we recognize that some of the toughest people have had the worst experiences in life, and they're just putting up this big facade of protection. But there's no such thing as a walls. The walls doesn't protect the heart from loving. It doesn't protect the heart from being hurt. What the wall does is keep in all the illusions that we formed. And our team, the angels, are asking us to please step forward in these moments instead of putting up that warrior idea that we're so bad-arsed that we can conquer everything and take everybody down with us. That we don't have time for that in life. You know, that's to step back a little bit. It's okay. We don't have to be vulnerable in public, but call on them because they're there for us. And they'll nudge us gently with the signs and synchronicities and aligning back with that inner light that doesn't go away. No matter what we are going through, it's never going to go away. And we know that. And so this is something that the angel said to me earlier this morning that I would love to share. They're bringing it back up into my awareness. Is that you don't have anything to prove. You don't have to go out and talk this big talk. You don't have to be witchy and angry to be a warrior because we're evolved. There's no need for that when we're evolved. Because we trust the process. So yes, being vulnerable and opening up to the help and the guidance, it could come in many different forms. It doesn't necessarily have to be an angel. It could be a stranger on the internet that says, hey, I know what you're going through. This is how I did it. Let me offer you some guidance. Take it. Don't be so in the warrior mode that we're just ignoring all the help because it's not coming through. We want it to be within our stillness and our quiet from our intuition. The intuition is a tool. Okay, the intuition lets us know if something is resonating. Sometimes the information comes from outside of us. Not always. It has to sit with our truth, our inner truth. But it can be given to us through many different forms. Now, I'm not saying to go watch these YouTube videos or read our fill of books. You could take every seminar that you want that's afforded to us. on spirituality, guidance, lessons, teachings, sacred geometry, whatever it is that we're looking to understand. And then we have to sit with that and see what resonates. Take what stays, leave the rest. We've heard that a million times. And the angels are saying that. But don't be so far in your warriorness that when someone is giving us a little advice, that we're so beyond that, because we're not. We're not beyond the triggers. We're not beyond the vulnerability. And we're not beyond the love. That's what we are. So it's okay sometimes to put that down. Use the warrior when you have to go out and get that job. Use the warrior when you're faced with your illness that you're battling. Use your warrior when the government is giving us these false senses of security, trying to force feed us garbage. Use your warrior to stand up for your human rights. But you don't have to use your warrior with the people that are around you, that are walking the journey with you hand in hand. That's your soul family. And if they really are connected with you, they're not out to hurt you. They don't have any ulterior motives. They're there just guiding you. And there's nothing that's important about always being right. Sometimes we're not. There's been many times I thought I understood something, and someone comes along and says, I offer you a different perspective on something, and it's incredible. I sit with it. I always sit with it. I honor that. If someone's taking the time to share something with me, I honor that. And sometimes that's where the angels are. The angels are nudging. Ask, and we will receive. But we have to be open to that. And sometimes, again, that's putting down the walls of illusion. The angels are pulling their energy back. I hope that we can somehow find something in this today. I've learned a lot just listening. I'm going to sit with this now and say thank you to everybody who's been offering me guidance and advice. It's just been incredible connecting with Soul Family online. I've learned so very much and put down a lot of walls. I don't feel like I need to be the warrior in that way. That's done with. The evolution is more important. That's what we're all here for. Much love and many blessings, everyone.